So you've watched a load of videos on YouTube and you've decided that a slower, more peaceful, less stressful life might be for you. So you've gone out, bought yourself a load of candles and some sandalwood incense sticks, and now you're living your life in a kind of muted autumn colour scheme. Or you can talk to me. Now, I'm no expert on this, so you might as well turn off now and go and watch some 12-year-old playing Minecraft somewhere, or you might join us for 10 minutes while we have a little bit of a chat in this misty Monday morning landscape. Slow living is all the craze at the moment. You can't turn on YouTube without seeing some attractive young creator drifting through an idyllic landscape, or at home in a cottage in the woods, baking bread by candlelight. Many creators seem to hide slow living behind this cloak of mystique, as if it's only attainable to the few, or for those who can escape into this beautiful serenic landscape and cottagecore lifestyle. Well, that's just tosh. It's available to anybody at any time. It ain't rocket science. It's just living at a slower pace in your mind, your body and your wallet. Like I say, it ain't rocket science. I'd love to live a life like that, but I don't, and neither do you. We live in a world full of noise and bustle and stress and kids and partners and husbands and wives and bosses and everything that goes with it. And we're not going to escape from that, but we can bring slow life, slow living, peaceful living into that environment. Of course we can. It's quite easy. It ain't rocket science. It can be done, but it's not a thing. You can't reach out and touch it. You can't go into Greggs and buy a foot-long slow life or a peaceful pasty. It's just an idea. It's a thought. It's just a lifestyle. That's all. An idea. And it will be your idea and yours alone. Nobody else will live your slow life like you. Everyone's slow life, peaceful life is unique, is their own, and it's tailored to you. It's tailored to your wants, your needs, your present lifestyle, your surroundings, your familial surroundings. It's just there, and it's up to you, and it's easy to do. Once you've actually got there, there's no equation, a handbook, a manual. It's just down to you. It's down to you to stress a little less, worry a little less, rush around a little less, consume a little less, chill a little more, see the world a little more, breathe in the world a little more. It's all down to you. But once you get there, it's a fabulous place to be. Take my word for it. I've been there for a long time. Baby steps, that's the trick. Come off a little bit at a time. Don't come off all at once. It's like coming off drugs. If you come off life to get a slow life too quickly, you'll come down just like coming off drugs, and you'll end up right back where you began. I've lived a slow life for many years, and I've lived my life in the countryside for many years. It just suits me. I've never had highly paid jobs. I've never had much disposable income. I've made terrible, disastrous decisions during my life, but I'm quite happy where I've ended up. And I've ended up in my own head for many years, but that's absolutely fine, because that's where I want to be. And you can end up in your own head if that's where you want to be, but it is your head. Don't follow anybody else's ideas. Don't follow my ideas. All I'm doing is describing how it affects me, how peaceful I am, how happy I am, and I have been for many years. It works for me, and I hope it works for you, but you're going to find your own way there, and it isn't going to be, unless you're very lucky, a cottage in the country surrounded by candles and sandalwood incense sticks. It's going to be getting up in the morning to go to work. It's going to be coming home and looking after a family. It's going to be doing things with the family at the weekend. It's going to be dealing with stress coming at you from your colleagues, from your employer, from life in general. And one of the main things is, it's going to be dealing with the rampant consumerism that's thrown at us every day. Nobody said don't spend money. I get lots of pushback by people saying, yeah, but we can't live without money. We know we can't live without money. Nobody's telling you to. Have as much money as you want. But try to avoid the rampant consumerism that's been thrown at you every minute of every day, on shop windows, on your phone, on the telly, on buses you go on, just on everything. And it's all very clever, because why do you think people who want to sell you stuff pay marketing agencies millions of pounds? It's because they come up with very clever ways of getting under your skin, very clever ways of parting you with your money. And one of the things about slow living is, and I've always been fine with this because I've never spent a lot of money, but it is spending less on the things you don't need. Decluttering your life, decluttering your mind. There's a great sense of freedom once you declutter. It's like having a spring clean. It's like putting a skip outside your house and throwing all the tosh you don't need into it. It's decluttering your mind. Go through your kitchen. Let's do it practically. Go through your kitchen and throw away all the nonsense you don't need. All the extra coffee makers. I did it, and that's what happened to me. I threw all sorts of rubbish away, and then throw all that rubbish away out of your mind as well. Try to avoid it. We're on social media a lot, aren't we? A lot of people manage to live without phones, which is absolutely great, but many of us can't. We do use social media a lot, and there's nothing wrong with that as long as you are sensible about it and you avoid getting pulled into situations, into comments and threads that get you angry and get you worked up and get you stressed up, because that's the whole point. That isn't the place you want to be. The place you want to be, think of this around me now as your mind. It's misty, it's still, it's calm, it's autumn, there's no wind at all. There's just me and Molly out here. I can't see another person. They probably are out there in the mists walking the dogs. But I can't see them, and it's just us, and it's empty, and it's very, very still, and it's very, very calm, and it's very, very peaceful. And that just soaks into me, and this is why I just love being out here. Well, treat that as your mind. Your mind is a countryside scene, pastoral scene of fields, sunshine, a beach, a crashing sea, whatever floats your boat. By all means, watch those videos on YouTube. You may pick something up, you may pick up a hint. There may be something they do that you think, oh, I would like to do that. There's always value in watching something. You don't have to take it as a handbook or a manual, a template to run your life, but you can cherry pick little bits out of it, and that's great, and that's fun. And there are other videos out there by just normal people in normal life, just talking about how they live chilled and less stress. It's all out there. It's all out there for the picking. Once you live in this mindset, things start becoming more apparent. I'm walking now, and all I can hear, there's some birds over to my left. Been quite quiet lately, but they're quite vocal this morning. There's no one behind us, and all I can hear is the crunching of my feet on the path. And that's very, very rhythmical. We walk at a really standard pace, don't we? We don't walk in little jerks. So it's like boom, boom. And if you just let your mind drift, you go into almost a meditative state walking in the countryside. You just hear that crunch, 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 crunch. And it sets a beat for your mind and your heart, the way you talk, the way you think. It's great this morning because there's so much mist that there are a line of trees to my right, probably about 100 yards away, and I can't see them. I can just about make them out in the mist. And the mist will probably lift later on, but it's nice to be out at this time in the morning in this wonderful countryside. Listen to that bird. It's probably telling somebody that I'm here and beware of the human. So get out and walk if you can. Not everyone can. And walk to that stream, and walk to that spot, and walk to that little private little bench that nobody goes near, and just sit there. Because if you sit out in the countryside, you're sitting away from an environment where stress can be created. If you're sitting at home, it's great sitting at home in peace, reading, listening, doing nothing. But it is a place where stress is created. Out here, especially if you leave your phone at home, stress cannot be created. There's no way. So you can come out and spend an hour, if you've got an hour, just sitting and thinking. If you can be on your own, that's great. If you can't be on your own, you can still come out. Bringing your kids in the countryside is a great way to teach them about life and teach them respect for the world around them, because there's too little of that nowadays, and I see it on a daily basis. The litter and rubbish and the way people treat the landscape. The landscape doesn't deserve it. So do all this, but do it at your own pace and only go as far down that road as you feel is comfortable for you. Nobody's saying you have to go out full hippie. You don't have to go full hermit. Just go down that road. Just give a little bit up. A little bit of consumerism. A little bit of stress. Get away from social media a little bit. Or a lot. It's up to you. You will find your own little sweet spot. And then once you've found that and you maintain that, and don't drift away from it, it may be difficult not to in the beginning, but it very soon becomes a way of life. And once it becomes a way of life, you don't want to go back. You probably want less stress. So you will give up a little bit more. You will chill a little bit more. My life puts things in perspective. And I can still be at peace and perfectly happy. And that's where I am. And I know that at 70 and coming into the twilight years, the chances are I will end my days in this state of mind, which is fantastic. When it comes to A lads A, I'll be able to look back and think, that was great. What a blast that was, rather than look back at a struggle to compete and to get and to acquire and to accumulate. I've accumulated memories, I've accumulated peace, I've accumulated happiness. And I want everybody else to get that as well. Don't set your sights too high. Don't try to replicate the videos that you see on YouTube of these slow lifers. Because I'm not only convinced they live their life 24/7 like that. I don't think it's possible in some cases. And I think it's given a false representation of what the whole thing is about, because it's just about finding a bit more peace in a busy world. Finding a bit more peace in less consumerism. Having less debt if you can. And then being out here and loving it. And on that note, ladies and gentle people, we shall see you on the flip. Peace and love.